It's much better if you have the conversation first. And that's what this is going to tell you with our processes. We really break it down and then help you with the scripts. We're so excited to be here to go over the 10 processes insurance agencies need to participate in. And I am blessed to be here with the consulting dream team. I'm going to first start off. There is a new person who is hanging out creepily behind me. We'd like to introduce the newest member of our team, the one and only Bobby Fernandez. Would you like to say hello?
Hi, everybody. Welcome.
Welcome. So Bobby is not only an epic expert, but a long-term insurance nerd, and we are excited to have her. So one of the things that I know in every agency that drives me absolutely nuts, because I don't know if I can swear on a live. We're making it up as we go. The fact that nobody wants to answer the freaking phone in an insurance agency. Nobody. So what ends up happening is we spend so much time with who's going to answer the phone, how many rings, why did it go to voicemail, or we transfer the phone. If I transfer the phone to Therese and she's like, another phone call. And we're not looking at it as an opportunity for people to love and serve their customers. It's an opportunity to serve. It's an interruption. We have the wrong output. So we have created a whole process for phone answering and transferring, getting the agency to come up with service standards of what's acceptable and what's not acceptable. So it sounds silly, but literally as we went through all the processes, which these guys are going to talk about, everything starts with the phone ringing usually, right? So we have to nail that one down. So I'm going to tell you guys, if anybody has any questions on phone answering, I'm going to give away my top secret tip inside the course, which everyone thinks I'm a cheese ball, but you all know I am, right? I love it when agencies answer the phone. It's a great day at Donahue Insurance. How can I make this the best call of your day? And then people out there are like, I can't answer it that way. That's way too nice. So you have to answer the phone with a smile. That's going to be our key to success. So take a look at that. We have the whole process written out, the questions you need. So I'm going to go next.
So I think one of our biggest exciting interactions we get to have with clients is processing their payments. Would you agree?
I do agree.
Well, I don't know if it's that exciting, but clients like to stop by the office. They like to come in. They like to bring in cash. They love us to go to the bank with hundreds of thousands of dollars every day, just looking to mug us in the parking lot. So what we could be doing is working with our clients to get them on EFT, converting their payment methods to an automated billing method, or just stopping the cash payments altogether. So one of the hardest conversations we have with our clients, because we take it personally, is you really don't need to bring me cash every time any longer. So we help you work through that process. We talk about some ways that you can have that conversation, which can be difficult. We go through the benefits of putting them on a paperless billing or onto EFT, and really how to automate that process, how to follow up with the client, and reduce those walk-ins from payments so we can free up our time to do what? Educate and upsell our clients the way they want to be sold to.
And here's the other thing. You get to see Stephen and I role play out how to get someone on EFT, a new business, a renewal call. You get all sorts of role play videos with these processes, guys. So if you need any help with how to screen a call in mine or how to get someone on a pay, we have them all. So your team can also get trained that way. Next up, the process of file documentation in your agency management system.
If you are in an agency, you know how frustrating it is when somebody does something and there's no notes. Document. It helps you with E&O. It helps everybody on the staff if you happen to be out the next day for some emergency, but documentation is really important. So go into our 10 processes. We have a leadership guide that goes through your agency specifically. You get to choose the steps and how your agency will do documentation. It's really important that all of us have documentations and notes in the system for each other as coworkers. We want to be happy, friendly, great coworkers. And the only way to do that is to make sure you're documenting the files when somebody calls in and things are done on policies.
And you all know my theory. If it's not in the management system, it didn't happen. So,
right. If you don't document it, I can't defend it.
So our next one is processing endorsements. I love a good endorsement. It's a change. It's an opportunity that says, hey, something has changed in this policy. And all too often, we just treat that as a transaction. I just changed the vehicle. Well, we don't know that the person's driving for Uber and that they're willing to put snapshot or usage-based driving in their car. We don't know that maybe Timmy, their son, is off in college and doesn't need to be on the policy. We don't even know if they're still garaging it in the same place because maybe they moved and didn't tell us. So we either look at an endorsement as an opportunity to scrub that account and get that policy accurate, or we look at it like, I'm just going to do the transaction. And remember, usually it's a happy change, right? So somebody's buying a new car. This is what we do. Okay, you're
What
buying a new
color
car.
is it?
Year, make, model. Your new premium is going to be higher. I'll mail that to you because I don't want to talk to you about it. Right? We don't want that, right? You know what? And people did give us good feedback that they sold policies from that. So here's our deal. I believe in checklists too. So you're going to see checklist after checklist in each one of these processes. So we have an endorsement checklist. You get the home, you get the auto checklist. And it's going to literally walk everybody through, because every time we talk to a client, it's an opportunity to cross-sell, increase coverage, get people on EFT. And a checklist helps enforce that behavior 100%. Next up, after endorsements, next course, number 5, proof of insurance.
How often do we have clients call us for proof of insurance? How do we react? Do we offer our digital options? There are so many digital options out there, whether your agency has an app or the carrier they're with has an app. Shoot them to that digital app first, because that is a way for them to have access to that proof of insurance 24/7. That doesn't work, try the website. You always go to your digital options first. And then you can also send them a form to fill out to request that proof of insurance, whether it be an auto ID card or it be a certificate of insurance. But stop. Declaration pages. What do you do if they call for a declaration page?
Give it to them.
No. Don't give it to them, because that means they're probably doing what?
Shopping.
Don't let them shop. Hesitate on those deck pages. Ask them, hey, what do you need this deck page for? Is there something I can help you with? Can I review these coverages with you? Make sure that you review them and you give them ideas and look for discounts. Don't just give the deck pages. But for proof of insurance, find a process. And our guide coming out Sunday will give you all the tips and the tricks on what your agency, the steps that you guys can build for that process for proof of insurance. Make it easier, make it short, make it quick. Don't make it a 20-minute conversation. Let's get them done so we can be out there selling.
And let's get those mobile apps going, right? Like, let's
Yes,
get those client
mobile
portals
apps.
going. I know everyone's like, oh, no one wants it. Well, no one's asked for it, right? Process 6, who had cancellation requests. Unless they're the kind of client we don't want to resuscitate and we're trying to get them to leave. And then we celebrate.
When it's the 4th rewrite for the state minimum limit person that likes to pay in cash, we're not necessarily sad to see it go the final time. But we really need to work on a cancellation process in the office. We need to be checking what's canceled and why. We need reasons. We need to track those in our system so we know why things are canceling. Where are they going? I think people are afraid to ask the question to the client. I was working with an agency the other day. They're like, so somebody calls to cancel, and the team's like, okay. And they just send them a cancellation form. And I'm like, what? Like, yeah, we don't know why they're canceling. And I'm like, me neither, but we should probably work on a process to figure that out. So this one gives you some great ideas of things to follow up on. It could be non-paid cancels, different scripts you can have with the client, ways to break down and have that conversation about why are you leaving or why do you want to cancel? Can we review that policy that you're replacing it with or the quote to make sure that you know what you're getting? Because sometimes, as we know, those large companies like to advertise all over the place, might not match limits or might provide lower coverages or have a inferior contract. So we really need to be letting the client know about that. And a great cancellation process brings that all together.
And we've got scripts, right? So how do they stop a cancellation? A lot of people just don't know what to say. They're not comfortable. They say, okay, great. Let me process this for you and get this right out of here so you love us when we leave. We want to fight for those, right? Especially now with the rates going up. So Stephen, that was awesome. I just want to go back into our shout outs here a little bit. I have been to Saskatchewan, Scott. So I've been to Saskatchewan. I've been to Saskatoon. I've been to Newfoundland. So I have been there. And let me tell you something. It is a different brand of cold up there. So you guys are hardy. We got people from down south here that are a little pansy when it gets to 32 degrees. They're like freaking out. I'm like, come on. I like to fluff up in the winter so that when it gets colder, there's a little bit more padding to make it all work, you know? All right, next up, and we have new business process. I believe this one was the mayor.
Yeah, I feel like I got super lucky to get that one because my good friend Scott Howell in Alabama says in order to grow, you got to get business and keep business. And so, you know, to simplify it, you know, what we talk about here is how to get that business and the new business strategies. And, you know, people ask us all the time, how do you get leads? What do you do with them when they come in? So we put together a process, whether it's a call in, whether it's a walk in, no matter what. We got to build rapport with those people. You got to qualify them. And then we want to make it a fun process along the way. And it's got to be something that is repeatable and that is consistent throughout the agency. So we have a fun way of doing that. And we also have scripts, and that we also have forms, like new business intake forms for personal and commercial. And so you can match that up with yours back at your agency, or use ours only. We don't care, just as long as you're having fun and doing it uniformly across the agency. And then we talk about the big thing is follow-up. There's fortune in the follow-up, and we talk about how to overcome objections. We go through the whole thing. So it's a super fun and awesome process. So go check that one out as well.
Raise your hand if you think that you should be gathering the same information every time in a consistent manner so you can provide a quality experience for your clients. That's what this one's helping you with.
Whoop, whoop.
And there's role-playing videos, right, on how to overcome objections.
Yes,
So they'll see how it is. There's scripts.
Definitely that.
This is awesome. You guys know my feeling. 4 and score, right? Every new quote should have 4 lines on it, and at least get that going. And what do we never, ever, 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 ever do on a quote?
Email the quote. Never
don't do that.
email the quote.
We don't do that.
By that experience.
Our value is presenting it and explaining it. That's what we're here to do as independent agents. When we email it, our value goes out the door. We sell on price. You sell on price, you get a service on price.
And then we also have a cool conversation about the biggest, controversy out there, raters. And you guys say, oh, raters don't work. But yes, they do, right, Therese? We talked about that because they're there to more help you with that duplicate entry and make things quicker. And so there's lots of fun stuff in the new business. And then, Kelly, tell them how, when they're collecting information, how should they put that in, should they put it directly in a system? Should they put it randomly somewhere?
Well,
with that?
Keith, I'm glad you asked, because I believe in quoting over the phone, which I know there's some people right now that are turning this off. Like, it can't be done. I'm out.
Stick with us.
Unbelievable. Yeah. It's too hard. And it's like, it's only hard because your people don't know what to say on the phone and keep them going. But when they're talking to you, they aren't talking to somebody else. And so go over the options to quote over the phone. If you're some places you can't, Florida, I get it. Some policies you can't. I understand. But, the 80-20 rule, 80% of the time, we probably can quote it over the phone, but we want to get off the phone because we don't want to be awkward. And we just make everything longer. The person's shopping. We make our job harder. Most people don't want to spend that, that much time on their insurance. So if they're just spending it with you, and how much different is it if I do this versus this and then have to do this? I mean, we're also busy. I said the B word.
Palpitation.
We're also busy. So taking a quote sheet and then write it in somewhere to call the person 3 days later is apparently a great sales strategy. Not. So, but we do have to move on to the next one. We have to move on to the next one, right? Renewal process.
Ooh.
You all know one of my favorite things in the world is renewal review calls, right? Like, nothing gets me out of bed harder than telling your entire team that they're going to call every customer this year and review the policy, right? Many of you have hired me to come in so you don't have to tell your team yourself, and paid me lots of money to go ahead and let them know we're going to call every renewal. And in this marketplace, your key to success is proactive renewal reviews. We cannot wait. When people call us and their rates have gone up 12%, your back's against the wall. You're going to scramble. You're going to remarket. We're going to miss cross sells. We get out, we get ahead, and we do this thing right. And what is going to happen? This is my prediction. The agencies that we work with that have been following our processes all along are primed up in this marketplace to eat the competition's lunch because they're already proactive on the renewals. So they've locked that down. We've been doing this. They have trust. The clients understand what the process is. They trust the agency. So now as people are in the marketplace shopping, they're not scrambling on renewal. They're cemented into a wonderful strategy. They can take that new business, quote it over the phone, close it, and the agencies that have processes are going to capitalize in this marketplace. And you got to choose. Are you going to be one of those agencies that we're short staffed, we're scrambling, everybody's burned out? Or are you going to put these strategies in place with your team, even if they're hard? So we love renewal reviews. I did them. We've got role-playing videos. We've got our form for renewal reviews. I want to be challenged on all the reasons why we shouldn't call every customer. There's no more poking the sleeping bear, okay? If you're worried about making renewal reviews, because if you call your customers, they may leave, your problem is bigger than a renewal review. If we remind our customers we exist, and that is the fear, I want you to take a deep breath and really sit on that this weekend and say, my fear is calling the customers will cause them to leave. I need to call APP like right now, because it should encourage them to send referrals and more business your way and increase coverage, not be like, oh, I forgot I had Steven as my agent. Let me get a new agent.
You forgot about
Okay.
Steven.
We have bigger problems. We got bigger problems. So, all right, the next one that we have here on the list, remarketing and rewriting.
I would like to fight anybody in the parking lot who says this is not a pain point at their agency.
Oh, sure is.
Remarketing and rewriting. How can we appropriately remarket things? Sometimes we have to be very proactive. A book roll, market withdrawing from the state. My favorite is getting on the phone with clients that are like, hi, yeah, our agency's unique in the fact that we're experiencing rate increases and we just have to shop everything. And I'm like, love you to death, dear, but no, that's not the case. So what we want to do is make sure that we have a solid guideline in place for the team so they know what they should be spending their time on, what should we let go, what should we really be doing for remarketing and rewriting, and making sure that those things are in place. Should we be looking at the monoline auto that cancels every other year and calls every 6 months for us to shop their rate? Or should we be spending time with the home auto umbrella package or the larger commercial account and really trying to keep that relationship? Should we be looking at the average of the increases in the area and letting the client know that, fortunately, your increase was less than some of the others? So congratulations.
Here's the other thing too about remarketing and rewriting. If your agency, I'm going to tie this back into the renewal. If your agency is doing the automatic remarket, which it went up 8%, so we shop you and call you, stop that right now.
Stop.
It is a waste of time. If you actually look at the metrics behind it, I would be shocked if 25% of the rewrites you do actually convert, and your team does not have time to do them, and you're missing the new roof, you're missing the updated payroll, you're missing all of the things. You're basically saying my only value is to call you when you need to pay your bill, or to call you when I've shopped you and that's the only value I have. And you have no idea all of the things that are going on with that client. So learn how to have a hard conversation. Learn how to tell the mayor that his rate went up 30%. It's much better if you have the conversation first. And that's what this is going to tell you with our processes. We really break it down and then help you with the script. So our final process that we have is claims.
The time that you're going to actually use your policies. No longer paper anymore. It's important. So you want to make sure that that experience is fantastic. And we walk you through that. And I'll go quickly through this. The main thing is to make sure that you have your follow-up processes down, and that it's, you're not just assuming that they got in touch with somebody, because what happens when you assume, and I won't go through that. But if, you got to make sure they've connected with somebody, then you got to have a follow-up process to make sure they've gotten things taken care of. You're giving them a great experience throughout that. And I think that's pretty well the claims process in a nutshell, so we can get to question and answer. Again, you just want to make sure that experience for them is memorable and is something that is a good experience and not a negative one.
Yeah, absolutely. And here's the other thing about claims. A lot of times everybody's doing them differently in your office, which means that there's an inconsistent experience right there. Thank you so much. And hopefully we see you all joining our course and downloading our processes. Bye, everybody.
Bye, guys.
Holla.